Same as usual, working at your own pace, making sure that nothing is causing pain or discomfort as in joint pain. Muscular discomfort entirely up to you. If you need to stop and stretch, stop and stretch. If you need a little rest, have a little rest, and then join in again when you're ready to do so. Usual props, a band, if you have one, or a belt, a strap, anything to give a little assistance, and then a ball. If I don't have one, I can use a pillow or roll up a towel, so I've got a little bit of resistance I can work against. So if you're seated, see if you can find that nice upright seated position. So releasing the compression from the front of the belly, that is squashing the diaphragm muscle, preventing it from being able to move as it should be moving, and then taking the breath up into the top of the chest. So see if I can relax and soften through the front of the chest and the neck. Create a little bit more space so that the diaphragm can descend down and then come back up to create that breath. So feeling the belly expanding out on the inhalation and then just relaxing on the exhalation. So picture that space there. See if I can guide the breath down into that space. So no tension into the collarbones, the shoulders, no tension into the throat, into the neck. If you're lying down, taking advantage of the support that is coming from the ground, from the floor. See if I can let my weight be carried by the floor. And then focusing again on the breath, feeling the belly raising as I inhale, and then dropping as I exhale. And then at the same time, as I'm trying to find that nice relaxed belly breath, see if you can run a scan through the body. So noticing where the pressure is. So if I'm laying down, do I feel an even pressure between the right and the left side of the body? Are my arms symmetric? One is slightly more abducted, slightly more internally or externally rotated than the other. Is the head centered, or is it slightly off to one side? Is it slightly turned to the side? I'm not changing anything, just noticing where everything is and how I feel to begin with. If you're sitting up, just noticing the pressure over the seat bones. Notice the position of the head. Is my head on top of the shoulders? Is it slightly forward? Is it slightly side? And then as I start feeling the breath feels a little bit calmer, the body feels that little bit more relaxed, and then I'm going to focus on the arms. Both arms together, I'm going to bring them up with the front, and then I'm going to reach them as far as I can. Then easing the arms back by the side, and then trying again. So I'm not forcing anything. If you're lying down, you're working with gravity, so it's quite nice and easy movement. Making sure that you're not forcing it into the shoulders. If the shoulder doesn't want to go, I'm not going to force it there. If I'm seated, it's a little bit harder as I'm working against the gravity. So it doesn't matter if I can't lift the arms very high, just to see if you can be aware of the arm lifting into the shoulder socket, not the shoulder girdle lifting with the arm. So my neck is not suddenly shortening, my shoulders are not suddenly coming up to my ears. See if I can keep them relaxed. So the neck is loose. I can turn and look around as my arms are moving up and down. 5. 4. 3. 2. Last one. And releasing down, relaxing the shoulders. I'm going to stay with the shoulder joint, but changing the direction of the movement. So instead of coming up with a front raise, I'm going to go into a lateral raise. So I'm going to swing the arms around the side and towards the head, and then I'm going to bring them back the same way. Same as usual, I'm trying to keep it as lateral as possible, so to the side as much as I can. But again, if I feel that that's too much for my shoulders, so it feels painful, it's grinding, it's catching, it's pinching, it just doesn't feel right, then I'm just going to allow the arms to move slightly forward to the body line. So I can still move them. It might be a little bit of a shallower movement, but it's not upsetting the shoulders, so it's not creating pain. So exactly the same if I'm seated or laying down. I might raise the arms up a little bit higher, keeping them a little bit further away from the floor, or just to see if I can keep them as close to the floor as possible, if the shoulders allow me to do so. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release and back. You're giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. It's a little bit more movement into the shoulder joint. Now see if I can try and work a coordination. So with my right arm, I'm going to go for that front raise. With my left arm, I'm going to go for that lateral raise. So my right arm is going to reach to the front and up. My left arm is going to go round the side. Then they're going to come back, and then I'm going to switch. So the left is going to go to the front, the right is going to go to the side. Come back, and then switch. Right to the front, left to the side. Come back, and switch. So see if I can maintain that coordination. One forward, one side, easing back. One forward, one side, the other way, and then coming back. One forward, one side, and back. One forward, one side, the other way, and then back. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms. There's a little bit more movement into the shoulder joint. I'm going to see if I can release into the neck. So making sure that the arms movement have not created any more tension into the neck. So I'm going to start off with a little rotation. So testing the range. So keeping the shoulders nice and still. I'm going to turn the head to look around the right. Ease my way back to the center. Turn the head to look around the left. Ease back to the center, and then to the right again. So keeping that movement going. With the corner of your eye, check that the shoulder is not suddenly pulling backwards, especially if you're seated. If you're laying down, I've got the floor preventing me from moving my shoulders, so I can only turn the head. And then comparing the two sides, I feel when I turn to the left, the movement feels a bit stiffer. When I turn to the right, it feels a bit easier, or vice versa. I'm always going to focus on the stiffer side to see if I can encourage a better movement in that direction. 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back. Returning the head back to the middle. Now I'm going to bring the right ear down to the right shoulder. So I'm going to flex to the side. Keep the head that way, and then think of your left shoulder pressing down and away from the head. So with the left arm, I can reach down the side. So I can feel a little bit more traction coming up into the side of the neck. So the left side of the neck is stretching. If I feel that I can make the stretch just a little bit stronger, with the right hand, I'm going to hook onto the side of the head, and then I'm going to encourage the head to pull away a little bit more. I'm not forcing, just to see if I can encourage just a slightly longer reach. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ease that tension, returning the head back to the middle, and then left ear to the left shoulder. I'm going to depress the right shoulder. I'm going to reach away with the right arm, creating that little traction down the side of the neck. And then again, if I can make it a little bit stronger, then with the hand, I'm going to reach by the side, left hand, I'm going to reach by the side of the head, and then just gently ease away. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easing the tension, returning the head back to the middle, and then I'm going to retest my rotation. So keeping the shoulders nice and still, I'm going to turn to look over the right shoulder, and then to the left. So noticing if there is any difference. 3, 2, 1. Easing back to the middle, and then same as before, I'm going to drop the right ear to the right shoulder, so flex into the side. But this time, instead of keeping my head facing forward, I'm going to turn. Imagine to be able to bring your nose to your shoulder. So I'm going to turn, tucking down. So I can still feel the stretch down the side of the neck, but this time it's wrapping more around the side than the top, the front, than the side. Same as before, I'm going to reach down with the left arm. And then this time, instead of trying to pull the head down closer to the shoulder, see if I can with my right hand onto the side of the chin, onto the left cheek. See if I can encourage a little bit more turning, as if I wanted to try and turn and look at the shoulder a little bit better. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easing the pressure, returning the head back to the middle, and then I'm going to try the same thing the other way. So left ear to the left shoulder. I'm going to turn to look at the left shoulder. I'm going to reach away with my right arm. And then again, if I can make the stretch a little bit stronger, then left hand to the right side of the face, and then see if I can encourage the head to turn just a little bit more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back, returning the head back to the middle, and then retesting the rotation, same as before. So I'm going to turn to look over the right shoulder, ease back, turn to look over the left, ease back. So noticing if there is any change. Does it feel easier? Does it feel stiffer? Can I turn around further? Last one. And then easing back to the middle. Returning the head back to the middle. And then last one. I'm going to tuck the chin down towards the chest. I'm going to reach the fingertips to the back of the head, just the fingertips. And then think of 2 forces going the opposite way. So with the head, I'm going to try and go up. With the fingers, I'm going to press down. So I'm going to match the tension. So my head is not actually going anywhere. My chin is staying tucked to the chest. But as I resist that pressure now, I can feel a little bit more stretch down the back of the neck, possibly all the way down to the middle of the back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ease the pressure, and then returning the head all the way back up to the top. Turning to look over the right. Testing the left. One more time on each side. And then returning back to the middle. Then bring the head back to the center, and then I'm going to focus on the legs. So starting off with a little bit of activation, what I want is for the front of the hip, so the hip flexors to bite, to kick in. So I'm going to use the hands onto the front of the leg. If you're lying down, you might want to put the pillow, the ball between the thigh and the hands, so you don't have to overreach with the arms, and you don't need to, again, strain the neck. You don't need to tense the neck. So I'm going to push the hands down into the leg, and then trying to push the leg up into the hand. So what I want to feel, it's a little tension right into the hip joint. Then I'm going to release that tension, and then I'm going to press again. So with the arms, I'm going to try and push away, and then with the leg, I'm going to try and lift up into the arms, and then I'm going to release. So one is trying to go up, the other one is pressing down, and release. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ease the pressure. Now, hopefully I've got the connection into the hip. So see if you can stay on the same leg. You get rid of the ball. This time, see if you can actually pull the leg up into a lift. Then easing back down, and then pulling up again. So the leg, the foot might be lifting off the ground. It might still be on the ground. It doesn't matter. See if you can still focus on the tension right deep into the front of the hip. See if I can encourage that tension. Think of the hip closing, your thigh bone moving towards the chest. So whether I'm seated or lying down on the back, see if I can get the muscle working. See if I can get my hip joint moving. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Relaxing the hip or relaxing the leg. I'm going to try the same thing to the other side. So again, if I'm lying down, I'm going to put the ball or the cushion between the hand and the thigh, so I don't need to overreach with my arms. And then pushing away with the arms or pulling up with the leg. See if I can find that connection into the front of that left hip. If I'm seated, I can still use the ball, I can still use the cushion. But because the leg is closer to me, I can put my hands directly onto the thigh, and then just push with the hands into the leg, and with the leg into the hands. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then releasing the tension, and then getting rid of the cushion, getting rid of the ball. See if I can now get into the lift. So same connection through, but this time there is nothing stopping me from bringing the leg up. So see if I can get that lift and back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing down, relaxing the hip but releasing the leg. Just a little bit more connection at the front of the hip. I'm going to focus on the inner thighs. So setting the ball or the pillow between the knees. And then I wanted to focus on both legs. I'm going to squeeze into the ball as hard as I can. So I'm going to press in as hard as I can. And then I'm going to release that pressure. As you're pressing in, compare the tension between the right and the left inner thigh. So I might find that one side is really squeezing, the other side is just kind of like just a holding in there. If that's the case, then I'm going to try and guide that leg into the squeeze. So I'm just going to use my hands to give the leg a little bit of a direction, a bit more of a clue of what I wanted to do. And then I'm going to release. If I find that both legs are a bit unresponsive today, then I'm going to use the hands on the outside of both legs and then see if I can, using my hands to guide, get a little squeeze going into the ball. So pressing as hard as I can and then gradually easing that pressure. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Easing the pressure, and then this time what I want is to try and see if I can hold that tension. So I'm going to squeeze into the ball as hard as I can, and then I'm going to hold it there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release, trying again, squeeze into the ball as hard as you can, hold the tension, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, release, one more time, squeeze in as hard as you can, hold that tension, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Relaxing the legs, releasing the hip, releasing the inner thighs, pushing the ball, pushing the pillow out of the way. And then I'm going to work in reverse. So this time I wanted the side of the hip to work. So if you're seated, I want you to use the band or the strap. If you're lying down, I want you to roll over onto the side. This is setting up into climb. So if I'm seated down, I'm going to use my band around the legs. If you're using the strap as usual, keep it a little bit looser. So you've got a little kind of like give into it that I can use to actually move the leg inside that loop. Using a little bow, a little knot to hold it in place so that the band doesn't come undone. If you're lying down, then you're on your side, same as usual. The knees are together, the legs are together. The feet roughly in line with the back of the hips. The head is supported. I could use a pillow, I could use the arm, whatever it's easier. Connecting the center, I'm going to keep my feet together, and then I want the top leg to start opening out and up. and then closing back. Maintaining the hips are facing forward, so making sure that I'm not turning my hips. I'm trying to lift the leg into the hip socket. So side of the hip or side of the bum working. Using my hand to guide it. Same as I did for the opposite. If I feel that the leg feels too heavy, the hip doesn't seem to be able to move it. If you're seated, pick one leg. So whether it's the right or the left is entirely up to you. And then see if you can start pushing out into the band with that leg. So I'm going to try and press out as hard as I can. And then I'm going to ease the leg back in again. Push out into the band as hard as I can. And then ease back in again. And exactly the same if I'm down on the mat. If I feel that I need a little bit of a guidance, I'm going to use my hand to guide that movement. So see if I can be aware of the tension coming up around the side of the leg into the side of the hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easing back, allowing the leg a little rest. And then same as I did before the ball, I'm going to see if I can have a little bit of endurance. So see if I can actually hold that tension. So I'm going to push out into the band, into the strap. I'm going to open up into climb. I'm going to hold it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. I'm going to try again. I'm going to push out into the band. Open up into climb. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Last time. Pushing out. Hold it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and releasing back. Relaxing the hip or relaxing the leg. If you're seated, you're going to move straight onto the other leg. If you're lying down, we'll go over onto the other side and then setting the position the same on the other leg. So the arm is supporting the head. The legs are together. Connecting the center. And then see if I can start opening up into climb on this side. So making sure that the hips are not rolling. The pelvis is keeping still. So think of the leg moving into the hip socket. So I want my hip joint to abduct the leg. So open the leg out to the side. And at the same time, I want the leg to slightly externally rotate. So my thigh to turn out and lift at the same time. And then easing back. Same if I'm seated, think of the leg pushing out to the side. And the thigh turning slightly out as I'm doing that. And then controlling back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ease the tension, allow the hip a little rest, and then I'm going to try and do the hold. So when you're ready, opening the leg out, hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ease it back. Try again. Opening the leg out, hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back. One more time. Opening the leg out, hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release it back. Relaxing the hip, releasing the leg, undoing the band. Pushing it to the side. If you're lying down, rolling over onto your back again. And this time focusing on the back of the hips, on the back of the legs, and see if we can get the little drive going into the legs. So if I'm seated, I might bring the feet just a little bit closer to my chair so that I can lean forward into the legs, and a big squeeze coming from the back of the hips at the back of the bum. I'm going to try and make myself lighter, as if I was trying to stand off the chair. Then easing my way back down, and then again I'm going to load the legs and then trying to pull away from the chair. If you're lying down on the back, the same as usual, we're going to bridge our way up. So making the back of the hips, the back of the butt working to create that lift, and then I'm going to control my way down. So squeezing my way up, 3, controlling my way back down, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, and releasing down, allowing the hips a little rest. And then same as we did for the inner thigh and the side of the hips, I'm going to see if I can build a little endurance. So this time I'm going to lean into the leg, come up into bridge. I'm going to hold it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release and down. Try again. Loading the legs and coming up into bridge. Let it hold there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then easing back. Last time. Coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and releasing back. Relaxing the hips, so releasing the legs a little shake, a little walk, and then trying to give them a bit of a stretch as well. So starting off with a little inner thigh, I'm going to bring the feet together. If I'm laying down on the mat, I'm going to keep the feet further apart if I'm seated, and then allowing the knees to open out to the side. If I'm seated, I might need my hands to help me push the knees out a little bit more. So see if I can get a nice stretch going to the inside of the thigh. I'm not forcing, and there shouldn't be any pinching into the side of the hip. So if I'm seated, I'm actively opening the knees out. If I'm lying down, I'm just going to let gravity do the work for me. So just gradually allowing the legs to drop down further out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easing the legs back, and then I'm going to get into the back of the leg. So grabbing hold of your band or your strap. If I'm lying down, I'm going to swing the strap around my, right foot, supporting the leg. I'm going to straighten up the leg first, and then once it is straight, I'm going to gently pull the leg towards me until I can feel the stretch coming down the back of the leg. If I'm seated, I can do the same thing. I can still put my strap around the leg, straightening up the leg and pulling it up, but it's harder, the leg is heavier as I'm pulling against the gravity again. So to make it a little bit easier, instead of trying to pull the leg towards the body, I'm going to let the body move towards the leg. So I'm going to straighten up the leg in front of me, and then I'm going to lean forward as if with my nose I was trying to reach for my big toe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easing back, switching sides. So if I'm seated, I can use the band around the foot, or I can just straighten up the leg and then easing forward until I can feel the stretch. If I'm lying down, the band goes around the foot, straightening up the leg, and then gently pull it towards you until you can feel the stretch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Relaxing the leg, releasing the hip, and a little stretch across the side. So if you're seated, if you can, I'm going to cross my right leg over the left. Left hand is going to hug the knee, and then I'm just going to pull the legs to the left and then turn the body to the right. If I can't cross, I'm just going to pull both legs that way. If I'm laying down, I'm going to bring up the right leg, left hand onto the knee, and then I'm just going to gently pull the leg across until I can feel the stretch coming down the side of the hip, a little stretch across the back, just making sure that there is no pain. 3, 2, 1. Easing back, switching side. I'm going to bring the left leg across, right hand onto the leg, and then I'm just going to gently pull the leg to the right until I can feel a little stretch wrapping around that left hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Allowing the leg to come down, relaxing the legs, relaxing the hips. Then when you're ready, rolling over onto your side, and in your own time, pushing yourself up into sitting. If you're down on the mat, finding your comfortable seated position, setting the legs wherever it's easier, for your hips, for your back, leaning onto something. If you need that support, using the arms if you need to, and then see if we can try and create the space at the front. So I'm going to raise it from the top of the chest, I'm going to extend my way up, I'm going to looking forward, looking up, looking back, and then I'm going to release, let myself fall forward as far as I feel comfortable, and then I'm curling back up again. Extending your way up, lifting up from the top of the chest, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing, coming forward, rolling down. Last time. I'm curling back, extending through, lifting, looking up, looking back. And releasing back, letting the chin drop, the shoulders come forward, rolling down. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back. Take your bow, give yourself